Welcome back to Wook Plus. I'm Weekend Wook, joined once again by Great Went and T. Fun to be back for Wook Plus Live. I love Wednesday nights. This is my favorite. Uh, yeah. So I guess first, right off the top, we got to wish Mr. Page a happy birthday. We're gonna have a lot of
60.
the big one, dude.
He's
He
a
looks
real
great.
boomer. He's an honest to God boomer. He falls into that category. Trey is a Gen X guy like me.
That's
He
pretty
barely
crazy.
made it.
Like that
Does
he's that
anyone
good.
else feel like old doesn't look as old as it used to look? Like when I was a kid, 60 looked like old, right? Like
Page
He's
looks
the new
old.
30.
Page looks old, man.
he doesn't look that old now.
Man, I think Trey wrote everything's right about him, about the whole thing about the mirror.
All right, so he looks old, but he also looked old when he was 20. He looked old. I mean, he's always
No, he did not.
I don't know.
He was the closest thing to a happening guy in the band at one time.
It says a lot about the band.
When was that exactly? What 5 minutes?
Mostly
was
through the
that?
80s and 90s. I mean, he was the guy. The rest of them, you were like, oh my God, those guys. It's those guys.
Yeah, but dude, no, go back and look at like some. No, okay. As far as maybe if you compare him to the other three, maybe
Well, that's all we
he's
got
like
is the other.
a small
That-
edge
that's
ahead of them,
funny.
but barely. I mean, that's not even like he's still in some of those pictures looks so ridiculous and awkward. And
They were very
to
awkward.
Wook's point, old, like he had that hairline and shit going early, like it went fast when he was younger. So
Yeah, I think Paige is the oldest member, and maybe Fishman is the youngest.
Yeah, that sounds right.
where's
that's
our
what we're gonna roll
producer?
with. That's what we're
Oh,
going with.
yeah, no producer tonight.
No,
but
he's,
you know
he's
what?
out drinking champagne with the ladies and the.
I just wanted to pull up Google Images here. So you're saying he
Right, that is
That's
exactly
the
what
happening
thing I was
guy.
thinking of like, yeah, that guy is the
I
guy.
said what I said was the closest thing to a happening
You're a
dude.
happening guy. I don't know, man. Trey looks like he's about to get out of a Corvette and sell you a briefcase of cocaine.
He's
Fishman
telling
is
you
doing
his
his
business
best
plan.
Captain Caveman there. I mean, you give him a fucking club. Look at
Yeah.
Paige there. Paige looks good. Damn.
He looks
Suave.
good.
Must be a realtor thing. Paige looks like he's gonna try to close you like a deal.
He's
on the
gonna
house.
close you on that $1 million deal, huh?
Good.
Oh
it's-
man.
So one thing we were thinking about doing in honor of Paige's birthday is seeding our top sandwiches for a sandwich bracket. I don't know. We'll save that for later, though. We got to save the good content for.
All right, don't blow it early.
So something that I told you we were going to put in our back pocket. Let's talk about it up front. Summer camp. Did you all see the announcement about summer camp?
Yeah, it's over, but not. Why don't you
It-
explain it to us? Because I was a
this
little bit
is-
confused by it.
The guy who started it, runs it, whatever. I'm not sure. I wish Joel would give me a call and tell me all about it. But apparently he said this is it for summer camp. But they're going to do something smaller in a similar location with Mel and Humphreys. So what I'm thinking is it's gotten too huge to handle. So they're going to cut out the EMD stages and all that kind of thing and get back to what it was like 10, 15 years ago.
Yeah, I mean, but it has to be more than two bands, right? Because then it's not really
Well,
a
no, you-
festival. It's just like
Right, but they have like 5 stages.
really.
Now or
Has it
something?
gotten that big?
Yes, it has like an EMD all night DJ thing for those guys, and
Yeah.
For
When
those
you
guys.
take your Molly too late in the set and you need
You're
something
stuck.
to do.
oh wait, they're doing the encore. Let me finish.
Right? Take a bump and you're like, oh shit, it's encore.
Gonna be a late one.
So yeah, I guess they're going to do it small. I just found it fascinating, and I've always wanted to go. And my kid's graduating, and I
Tom-
can't go
Tom
because my
nailed it,
kid's.
by the way. It's like, did you see the announcement? Yeah. Did you read it? No. But hey, we can ask Kevin to read it for
TLDR,
us.
TLDR there.
Okay, we'll summarize it.
Next
Yeah.
week would have been next year would have been my chance to go because no kids in high school anymore. But
Well, you weren't going to go to all the other side stages anyway.
yeah, but I just wanted to see it for what it was. Like you go to Bonnaroo, not even as much because there's, some band that's going to change the world. I mean, we know what Fish did there. It was questionable.
I liked it, but
you go to Bonnaroo to experience Bonnaroo.
Bonnaroo, yeah.
Part of that with all those people. So
You
you
go to
summer camp
Bonnaroo
to
to see the hairy wooks that have like 15 wristbands on their arm, and you're like,
right,
Kev-
hanging out with the people who came to see Beyonce or whatever, pop person they
Kev
throw.
doesn't sleep anyway, so wandering around listening to EDM music and shit all night is perfect.
Am I saying it wrong? It's not EMD, huh? Thank you. That was very subtle, and I didn't even have to, call it out.
You didn't have to call yourself out on it. You could have just let it slide.
I could have been like EDM from here on out. Like,
did you
like
guys
I said before?
Did you guys see that article about the sphere and fish potentially closing in on it?
Yeah.
Now,
What are they going to do? What are they going to do with everything we've heard about, with the production value and YouTube, what they're pouring into it and the capability of it? How can Fish do that when Fish, their light show is the best in the game, but it's the light show. It isn't videos and
Right. Well, there's definitely the possibility or potential of it backfiring, because going into what was it, 13? They had that idea of putting the screens behind them, and I'm sure they were pumped about that. They were like, "This is gonna be so great, everybody's gonna love it," and it fell so flat. So there is that, like, oh hey, maybe this is a great idea, and it won't. But I heard that argument that like it's not pre-written, so you can't like set it up. But honestly, I think it's the screensaver effect. Like if you just do something cool and trippy and artistic and like really out there, like something with space and like cosmos and lights and melding into it, like trippy shit, it doesn't need to match up with the music. You could do traditional lights with in front of the black for the chorus, and then the screens come on during the jams. That would be
right.
insane.
But wouldn't you want to walk into something like that if you were Fish and Trey loves Broadway to do something the same every night for a run? Do a game henge.
No, he's not going to do game henge.
But build something that's a suite and that you can do every night.
Yeah, he might. They did Ghost of the Forest that way.
But then you can never sell it out because people ain't going to go night after night after night to see the same thing.
And people aren't going to go to Vegas for one night of Fish.
Right.
I think they could do what I'm saying, though, and have just the jams illuminated with crazy shit. Or you could do like a special event type thing, right? Like, oh no, I guess you need to have multiple nights to pay for it, right? Like I was thinking like a Halloween type thing.
Doesn't it have to be coordinated though? If you have all those screens, T, you can speak to this. Doesn't there have to be some coordination? Like we know we're going to do Carini and we're going to do it for 15 minutes. And at 12 minutes in, we want this effect to happen on the screens. Wouldn't it have to be scripted almost?
Almost. Yeah. I think for there it does, or at least a lot more of an idea of what you're really doing, which is interesting because if you've been watching those Trey videos on Instagram, the what are you doing or whatever
type things,
yeah, and he had the rig guys on, and the guy was explaining that how a lot of times with a lot of the cues, sometimes bands that he's worked with, it's 4 cues all night, right? It's like boom 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 and that's it all night. And like with Fish, he's like, it's very different because it's always, we kind of know going in, but then there are a lot of audibles that happen and we know where those are and what to do, and the rig compensates for those. So it'd be interesting. I don't know how with the sphere, if it wouldn't matter if you were going to tell a story no matter what songs you played, with the video behind you was just going to be that, or like they did on the Earth Day thing, and you kind of segued into
ocean.
We're going to do ocean theme,
songs,
right? Ocean theme things, and then the video
and
behind
you just
it
had like a big ocean fish tank,
right?
Type
and
thing.
We are going to play free and make this cool thing in the light. You know what I mean? There'll be certain songs, but we don't know what we'll play.
Could they do all 4? Could they do all 4 elements? An air night, a water night,
yeah. I mean, I'm sure,
night,
of course, and something like that. Maybe that's what they do. Kind of like the Baker Dozen on acid, where like it starts to become like it's not just a themed night, but it's themed. all around,
right.
immersively,
a fully immersive themed experience, and that would be easier to produce because you wouldn't be scripting it like to specific cues and everything. It would just be, hey, we need 2 hours of ambiance on this theme. I think people could make a space one or an ocean one a lot easier than like specifically doing it to like choruses and verses and things.
Right,
Almost
and just knowing you had the elements like like a Heads in Space, like you're like, we're just gonna put it on in the background and have it going while we're playing what, and and then just hopefully at some points the songs sync up with what you want to play, or like I said, you're gonna play free and have those graphics come on during that, and then you don't know what you're gonna play after that. So,
do you ever go on the ride at Disney World, the TWA ride? Where you were in a cart and they like showed the wheat field and you were running through the wheat field.
Oh yeah,
it would be like I think a lot of footage like that they would say these 10 songs can have this footage.
Right.
So when they go into a boom,
is that like an 80s reference?
What?
Is it still called the TWA ride? Like, isn't that
no,
like
it's gone now?
Yeah,
no, it's long gone. They did it.
Right. I was like, that's like an 80s reference. Okay.
It was in Tomorrowland at one time, and it was
Right.
one of the better rides because you could sometimes get a little bit of that stomach turn if you were like let yourself go to the,
Yeah. They got a lot of rides
immersive.
like that now. Yeah, I think they could do something, and they should hire wook+ to be on their production crew because we
there.
have brilliant ideas.
I hate Vegas, but I will go to Vegas and I'll rent a house outside of town.
Yeah, I was. I met with
with chicken in the name.
I met with a potential client today, and he was like, "Hey, you travel for work?" And I'm starting a family, and I'm like older. I don't really want to. I was like, "No," and he's like, "Well, we're going to be doing some work in Vegas." So I was like, "Yeah, I could travel.
maybe.
Yeah, maybe it lines up with Fish playing at the Sphere. Sure, why not?"
I mean, who would have thunk it though years ago that Vegas would suddenly, and they're building an A's stadium on the Strip, would have 3 professional sports teams.
Do we want to go?
in
Do we want to
Vegas?
go down that road?
What road?
That gambling has overtaken sports and the refs are all in the bag for every sport.
It's all scripted, Kev. It's all scripted. Anyway.
It's fucking pro wrestling. Everything is pro wrestling.
It's all
now.
scripted.
I just want the fucking paperwork to know who wins so I can put my money there.
That
We're
can't
behind the
possibly
curtain
be
now,
true.
people.
Oh my God, some of those refs have to be betting. The Lakers had like 97 fouls. Golden State got 12. It's that kind of shit.
Sports ball.
Sports ball live from
Conspiracies and sports ball.
We're fucked.
I don't watch sports
All right.
because it's all scripted. Fuck that.
So let me ask you.
Hold on,
What
we got
is
an
the
echo. T, you got to turn down a tiny bit, I think.
What is the best sandwich?
All right, let's go around the room on this. I'm gonna go first because I feel pretty
3. Give 3 that are your top tier.
All right, top
And
all
that'll-
time for me is a Cuban. A good proper Cuban, I think, is the best.
Pickles touching.
Yeah. Probably a Reuben would be number 2, and then a solid club, like a triple. Like, does a club need to be triple with the middle
No,
bread?
club has to be 3 pieces of bread.
Yeah. So
Meat and then lettuce and bacon.
I think club comes in at number 3 for me.
So you want a BLT with extra meat, basically, as a
basically.
club. See,
Well, like, you ever go to Subway and get the BMT?
I don't go to Subway because it's not real bread.
I know, I hate it. I'm a Jersey Mike's guy, but
I bet you get the tuna at Subway, don't you?
Subway.
No, I get the BMT. I just told you.
I would go BLT is the number 1 sandwich ever for the simplicity of it. The Reuben.
That's like a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Like the BLT, that's so ridiculously.
And
that's not really. I don't know.
Then a Reuben, and then a Monte Cristo.
That's disgusting. Explain to the audience what a Monte Cristo is in case
Monte
they don't
Cristo
know.
You don't like a Monte Cristo?
It's ham turkey and Swiss melted in between 2 pieces of French toast, and they give you some syrup or boysenberry shit or something with it. Shit's all right at 3 a.m. when you're
exactly what it sounds
hungover the
like.
next day. That's what you want.
You describing a Monte Cristo made me feel hungover. It sounds like drunk food. All right. I see some really good questions in the chat I want to come back to, but first I want to hear what T's top 3 sandwiches are.
I like a good French dip as one.
And that's the roll question.
Right. That's one of the questions we got to discuss.
I go with that. I like the simplicity of just a good turkey avocado, basic sandwich.
California.
That is the most California
Yeah,
shit.
that's the
It's
California.
just
You
my
say a
favorite
lot of
one.
California shit, but that was the most California shit you've
It's
ever
on 9 grain.
No, definitely not. Definitely white bread. Definitely some Wonder Bread. But and then I don't know. I've been eating a lot. Well, because of the New Orleans theme, a muffalata I've been into a lot lately.
Oh,
Those are
Tim
really
just said to me, "What the fuck is a muffalata?" And I
you
was
get
like,
you get a good one, and man, they're good.
I
It's
said
just a lot of
it's an
meat.
Italian with pickle spread on it.
Yeah,
Alright,
there's
so
a lot of good stuff in there.
We're gonna play a game where I'm gonna name something, a food item, and you're gonna say if it's a sandwich or not.
Okay.
Okay. Cheesesteak.
Yes.
No.
Okay, great. We already have it.
Because of the rolls.
Right.
Yeah, it's a roll. It's a submarine. It's a hoagie. It's a
What about a hamburger?
grinder. Huh?
It's still a sandwich. Isn't that a type of sandwich? It's under the art. It's
Well,
under
he said earlier, he's like, because it's a roll, it's not cut.
A
And I,
hamburger.
but
a
then I
hamburger-
asked him, what if you cut it all the way through?
You
Like,
know how you
how
make a
far can you
hamburger?
cut it? If you cut it all the way through, it's 2 pieces of bread.
Do you know how you make a hamburger a sandwich? You make it a patty melt and you put it on rye and you fucking grilled cheese that rye and the fat from the burger.
That's
All
a
right.
burger, though. Like I don't.
A patty melt is a sandwich. A burger is on a roll. It's its own little thing.
Whoa,
Because he's
Tom, a
going to say
cheesesteak
the
is
H
actually
word soon. He's going to say the H word next.
a hoagie?
No, hot dog.
Oh, yeah, I was going to get to hot dog. But I think a cheesesteak is a hoagie, actually. Because you can get a you can get a cheesesteak or a cheesesteak hoagie.
But
It's a
isn't
hot dog, a
hoagie just a
sandwich.
type of a sandwich? I mean, we're still under the guise of sandwiches here.
Is a submarine different than a sandwich or whatever you call it in California?
A sub? No, a sub. It's a sub sandwich. It's
Yeah.
in the
I mean,
name.
that's not how they advertise it. You order a cheesesteak sub. You don't order a cheesesteak sub sandwich.
Well, it's the same thing though. It's just
it's
another name.
implied.
Yeah.
Wait, so is a hot dog a sandwich?
Fuck no.
Okay.
Hot dog a sandwich. No, that's like a burger. That's under a different category.
Wait, so what is a hot dog closer to? A hamburger or a taco?
A sub.
a hamburger or a taco? Is that
Right.
what
A
you
hot
said?
dog is closer on the spectrum to a hamburger or a taco.
A taco, probably.
Probably a taco.
Right. I used to go to this place, Ann's, down Marley Station in Southern Maryland, and they had a whole sub roll with 2 foot longs, chili, cheese, and that was a sub because it was just huge. It was like Big Perp or something.
Would you
It
eat
was-
a hot dog in tortillas?
Oh,
I wouldn't eat a hot dog in a bun.
I've eaten hot dogs in tortillas before because we had a box of hot dogs and a bag
and no
of
bun.
tortillas
Yeah.
that someone stole
Of
from
course you have.
a baseball stadium.
Right, like out of necessity, but I don't know. Like, I mean, I don't know.
Definitions are kind of weird, and I feel like people get really hung up on it, and it's more just like a
my
general.
sandwich is bread, some kind of meat, and vegetable bread.
It has to have meat.
Right,
Yes.
but is it?
What about a
is
grilled
it-
cheese? So grilled cheese isn't a sandwich. A PB&J
But is it a
isn't a
roll,
sandwich?
a
I-
baguette? Isn't that bread? I mean, it's bread. That's still bread, so it's still
A vegan,
sandwich.
a vegan can't eat a sandwich. How about that? So that way cheese can be let in because vegans don't eat.
What do
cheese.
you have against vegans? All right. Well, then
Cheese.
let me ask you this: is pizza a sandwich? Because I fold my slices, and that's bread, cheese, bread. Then
No, pizza's pizza.
this is
Pizza,
like
pizza is garbage food. If you want to know the truth,
what?
pizza is
Well-
just wrong on so many levels. Each piece of pizza is like eating a Big Mac, and I can eat like a whole pizza, and I could
Okay,
never.
so you
eat a
like
Big
them?
Mac.
You just said you have a self-hate. This is like oh, I hate what this does to me. I hate how much I eat it. I love.
No, I
pizza.
never feel good either. You're like,
Well-
whoa, dough and cheese.
I feel like you're getting shitty ass pizza though.
I live in
Well,
Maryland.
Maryland.
What do
I
you
mean,
want?
yeah.
I
What?
live in Maryland.
This is like the Hall of Fame conversation, but like a little less divisive. I love sandwich talk. What do you think Paige's favorite sandwich is? Has they ever come out on the record on that?
Yeah, if we had a producer, we probably would have looked that up.
You know, you could have not said anything and nobody would have known. To be like, man, that's a well-produced show.
I'm like,
These guys clearly have a lot of support backstage.
firing out all this.
They have a whole network behind them.
A calzone. Yeah, calzone is kind of well, that's like a pizza burrito, actually.
That's like
Yeah,
a
but
pizza sandwich. No, that's almost well, it is like almost
dinner in a movie. There was a dinner in a movie with the Page sandwich, wasn't it? Tuna fish. Didn't he fucking make a tuna fish sandwich?
I like tuna fish sandwiches as long as they don't have that crunchy shit in it. What is that, like the celery chunks or whatever?
Oh, you don't want celery in it.
No,
How
I
about
just
relish?
You don't like celery.
no,
Do
no,
you
no.
go
I
with
just
relish.
tuna fish mayo, you know, whatever that is.
No
That mix.
relish.
No, none of that.
What kind of mayo?
Regular, not Miracle, like
So now,
or
Kev,
light, but
now,
not Miracle Whip.
if it's an open face sandwich, it's a melt.
Ooh,
Is
it's
that
a
what you're
melt.
going?
It is a melt. Yes, thank you. You
So
answered
like a tuna melt is different than a tuna sandwich.
right.
Is
A
a
tuna
tuna melt
sandwich is
open
white bread,
faced?
tuna fish, white bread, and that's your life because you could
Yeah, a
only
lot of
afford
times a tuna
89
melt is
cents.
like an open face bread with tuna on it.
Right. Yeah, that's
Do
a
you-
melt.
Do you think people tuned in expecting us to talk about sandwiches?
Sandwiches
for an hour?
and food.
I got it.
Sandwiches
Wait, I have a
20 minutes.
really serious question though, if you guys don't mind. Is a bagel considered a sandwich?
Oh, yes. I
Yeah,
would go
bagel
with you could have a
sandwich.
bagel.
If you put turkey in between the two pieces of bagel,
But
right,
if
but
you,
if it's
if
cream
you-
cheese, it's not.
but if you eat the bagel open face, then it's a melt.
well, then
What
it's
if you
just
don't melt
toast.
anything? What if it's yeah? Then it's just toast.
Toast. It's toast. There you go.
Is anyone writing this down?
Yeah.
I feel like we're doing like really important work right now.
That's this.
We need to establish this.
Look,
shit.
yes, see, Savage said Paige's tuna fish sandwich.
Yeah.
Thank you. I'm not
Yeah.
making shit up. People say I'm
See,
dumb. and
people
I
sharing
remember shit.
recipes. All right, let's do
Oh,
this.
egg salad. Yeah, I like egg salad, man.
Do I
Egg
like
salad's just wrong to your friends and coworkers and
Yeah.
everyone on the train.
It's good at home.
Yeah.
It's like egg sandwich is what you have when you're home alone, family's out of town.
Yeah. You can leave a cloud in the living room for a day or two.
Exactly. The deviled eggs are going bad, so you decide to make it into an egg sandwich.
Chop, 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 chop. Here we go.
So what else has been going on? I've been kind of MIA. I haven't been tuned
Well,
in.
how's
as much as
Zelda?
we-
No, you
Because you've
tell
been playing a
us.
video game in the basement.
You've been in Hador. Is that the name of the land?
You nailed it on the tweet, and now you fuck it up here. Hyrule. I've been soul searching in the fields of Hyrule. I mean, listen, I know probably most people watching aren't super into it, so I won't like spend a ton of time. But this game is fucking phenomenal. Like it is unlike any game I've ever played, including Breath of the Wild, which it's a lot like, but it's so Breath of the Wild was revolutionary and like such a great game, but there was complaints and things they missed. And this is one of those rare instances where I feel like they listen to every single thing that every fan said. Any complaint, any like, oh, it'd be cool if you could do this, or what if you could do that? Every single thought that people have had, I feel like they've incorporated and brought into it
As best they could,
As
because
best
there's probably competing thoughts.
Well, my thoughts then, they read my mind. They were like,
You didn't write a letter? Come on, truth.
it's no, it's great. And it's cool because like Zelda, if you're not familiar, has different types of games. There's like the puzzle
But
games.
Zelda, you were never going to be Zelda. You're some dude named Link.
Right, that is true. And actually that's a whole nother
Why
thing.
isn't it called Link's Adventure?
Well, no, there is a game called Link's Adventure actually, and it's not very good. I'm
a marketing
They're not
genius
called the
over
Adventure.
here.
They're called the Legend of Zelda because they're telling the story of like the legend. Now you're getting the real nerdy shit.
And she was a queen?
She was a princess.
Right. Now, was she a princess like the Page song Tila type of princess?
Oh, is that your segue out? You set me up to get me all excited about Zelda, and then you're like, let's talk about Paige again.
And then
fucker."
we'll go back to what's your favorite Page song?
I got it right here. I'm just waiting to hang up on you all. I'm gonna pick it up and go right
He's
back.
going to drop us. So what can I tell my Page story? Because
Well,
there's probably people here who've never heard my Page story.
Yeah, let's take a second. I feel like that was we jumped everywhere. We're in Sandwich Land. We were in Zelda
Now we're
Hyrule.
going to like, subscribe, follow.
Yeah. hit us with the super chat or super thanks or subscribe. Really, that's the thing. You know, we're on here every night and we're like, hey, subscribe to the channel. And like I was watching YouTube today and I realized all the people I was watching, I wasn't subscribed to. I'm a terrible YouTube fan. Like I felt so I subscribed to a bunch of people today because I want to support the content creators and the people that do this that I enjoy. So if you are enjoying this, subscribe. And if you're not, then it's fine. Just hang out. Yeah, so Paige, tell us your Paige story, and then let's talk about our favorite Paige songs.
Night after Dayton, we got up the next morning in 97, drove to Penn State, checked in the hotel. We got the hotel for 2 nights in Penn State, college town, hanging out in this bar, the Rat Skeller. They had $5 pitchers of Yingling Porter that were minis. It was like 2.5 beers, so you just were pounding pitchers all night. They close us down, kick us out. There's a bar up top. We go in there. There's Paige and some other dudes sitting at the bar fucking drinking Budweisers. So we go over and we're like, why don't you do Rift anymore? And Paige is like, we just aren't there anymore. And, finally we're like, all right, see you later. We go out front. We're standing out front trying to figure out how to get back to the hotel. Here comes Paige with this other dude. So we're like, Paige. And this other guy's like, how do I get him out of here? And he goes, how about we get a picture? And my friend Krissa has a camera, hands it to me, and I hand it to Paige. And Paige takes a picture of me, Pat, and Krissa.
What?
And then hands me the camera back, and we're like, see you later. And they're like, dude, what the fuck?
That is a Kevin story, if I've ever heard a Kevin story.
I was actually worried about this story. I was like, where's it going? But that was good. That was a witty ending.
That was my brush with fame.
So now you can be like, Paige took this picture.
Paige, exactly. I've been trying to dig up the picture, and
I feel like we should have kept talking about Zelda. I feel like we didn't need to jump off of that for that story.
Oh, I saw the numbers dropping.
During your story?
No, during Zelda.
Oh, that was just Makita. He'll be back. Fucking grumpy ass Wody.
No, let's talk about Paige
songs. All right.
Because they're questionable a lot of the time.
What? No, they're not.
His nothing against Paige.
You watch your tongue, you son of a bitch.
His vocal range is less than Mike's.
No, it's not. He has much better vocals than Mike.
So?
Yeah, 100%.
I don't know about much better, but I think it's
than
better,
Mike.
But it's not great. That
Mike
definitely
should never sing. Mike should never sing ever. Paige, I like. All right, so I was actually gonna say one of my favorite songs that Paige does is "No Quarter." I love the way he sings that.
He's very good at Robert Plant.
Right, he can sing Robert Plant, and yet you're saying he has no range. Yeah, that makes no fucking sense.
Yeah, but that makes you like. There's the guy who can paint the Mona Lisa, and then there's the guy who can recreate the Mona Lisa. That you can't tell the difference.
You can do neither.
Neither can I. I'll show you my Mona Lisa.
All right, that's fine. That's your opinion.
No, so I would much rather hear Paige sing cover songs than Half the Way to the Moon. Even Tila kind of grinds on me a little bit.
Yeah, I think that's just yeah. But his
there's some good covers that he sings, like you said. No Quarter is great. I love "Oh Sweet Nothing." I think that's like my favorite one. Maybe all Paige song, "Life on Mars," that they don't really play anymore.
But they
rock and roll.
Day in the Life. They don't really play.
Actually, all those classic rock covers, he fucking nails.
Yeah,
he really does.
He does, and they don't really do them. And I think one of the best things that they don't do anymore either, that you used to get all the time back in 1.0, was the Frankenstein shit. Like when he'd come out with a guitar and rip shit
that was
up,
his best cover.
So much fun, like just so much fun. The best.
I love how Kevin made it all about vocals though, because when and maybe it's just a different mindset, but when we were in the chat, we're like, hey, let's talk about Paige songs. I was thinking like Squirming Coil with like the outro. Or I was
thinking, isn't a Paige song. That's
all right, but in my mind, or I was thinking about the Leo trio. Like I was thinking about like NICU, and like I'm thinking about songs where he really shines.
Which fair enough.
Because that's what Paige. I mean, that's kind of how I think of all of them, though. If you said what's your favorite Trey song? Like, I wouldn't be like, oh, what does he sing the best, right? I think of like the songs like, that have the best guitar. I don't know which one is my favorite though.
I don't think Page nails Jesus Left Chicago because he isn't a guy from Texas with a big beard.
Yeah,
it's
but
a
I
fun
like
version.
it. Yeah, it is
But
fun.
LaGrange, I would say Mike nails LaGrange. It might be one of his best covers, and it disappeared after Vernon Downs. Maybe it's shown up since then, but
Yeah,
It's a shame too.
it's a shame. It's a heartbreaker.
Shame
They
a lot
just
of
don't
those
know what's
1.0
best for 'em.
covers have gone
Did we
away.
mention Lawn Boy? Lawn Boy is a good one. I love that.
Okay,
That's like
that
his fun.
and what I've been around.
I've been around.
Those
Yeah,
two
that's
together.
a great one. Actually, I like I've been around better than Lawn Boy as far because I feel like it's more owning of the gimmicky, right? Like Lawn Boy is like pseudo gimmicky, but also like pseudo like Serious Fish Song, I guess. But like I've been around is full on, gimmick.
I'm good
Strange
with it.
design.
Whatever, if they're gonna do a gimmick, I would rather hear Fishman come out and do a song if they want a gimmick one night.
Yeah, most events, Savage brought that up. That is as far as like Vita songs and like that type of. So that's the third type of Page song. I love that song.
But there's most events, and what's the other one? Always wanted it this way.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, that I like. See, I always wanted that this way. That's the '80s vibe one, right? Like the album version sounds like it could have been a Flock of Seagulls tune or
Yeah.
something from the early '80s, and I love that they fucking nailed it in the studio. And then the live version, they try to jam it, and maybe it doesn't need to be jammed. Maybe it's a song that needs to be a song. 6
No.
minutes.
No, I disagree.
But I like when he breaks out those synth noises and the 80s sounds in the shows, like when he does that in that song and you get that and those cool little noises and shit. Like they're very fun and it like takes it in a whole different direction. You're like, ooh, okay.
I love that evolution of Page and everything he's brought to the table of the last couple of years, adding the different effects and really expanding it. He's probably at least the most obvious as far as growth and expansion and like pushing the limits. I feel like, I know Trey and Mike talk about it, but I feel like Mike
Why no
especially
solo
has
band?
been very
I mean, Vita Blue, 2019. I did pick up the Nalgene. But Page owned that band, and it never. I saw him 5 times. I think once it was the Spam All Stars. The other time it was. One time it was the 4-piece because he added the guitar for the 2019. The other
probably
3
doesn't
were
have
early.
the same like hunger and drive that like Trey does. He still tours a lot. Like,
Yeah,
Fish
but
tours a
that
lot.
band particularly. What did you make of the live shows? They seemed.
I will full disclosure. I love Vita Blue. They're probably my favorite side project out of all of them.
It seemed like it was. They never, to me, found their footing until they had the Spam All-Star tour in whatever it was, 2003, 2004. And with the horns, it seemed like the more people you added, the more it forced it to be constrained and tight and focused. Whereas when it was the 3-piece or the 4-piece, the meandering and the jamming wasn't as tight as, say, a Fish was, or even a Goose or any other band that does it all the time, because you're pulling Russell out of New Orleans, O'Teal out of California.
Yeah, I mean, you don't have the same chemistry for sure, but you also got a lot more spontaneous, fun, like interesting ideas that you hadn't heard. And it was, I got to say that when they brought in added the guitar, it really worked. I guess it's cool too that it wasn't too out front. Like it just kind of supplemented.
I didn't like it. I liked it better. I'm a big fan of trios.
I'm noticing you and I are we're not on the same page with all our, which is great. That's why there was
the same page you say about Page.
No, I like a trio because I feel like Soul Live, they had so much room because they all knew their role in it. Whereas if you have a 5-piece plus 3 horns, all of a sudden it has to be more controlled because.
And Soul Live was such a different band when they had the singer with them for a while singing those songs. Like it was a totally different band. And then when he wasn't there, it was like the reins were off. Like it was so much different. It was That's
Yeah,
interesting.
they're incredible. If you haven't heard Soul Live, I hope most people have. Alan Evans is a fantastic guitar player, but he played drums at Soul Live because Krasno was there and his brother. So I mean,
So
it's
good.
just
I mean, just so good.
right. Very funny. He was telling me about Medeski and Medeski Martin and Wood. They were doing a tour together, and he'd be like, Medeski, they'd have everybody grooving, and then they drop into this space shit, and it would just be way out there. And like, I don't know if they did that on purpose because they saw everybody grooving, and they were like, let's throw them a loop.
Sometimes you just find yourself in a space groove, or like it just happens. And at least for me, like that's like I always used to think, oh, how did like they plan it out or they fall into this thing? And then I would be playing, and again, I'm not saying I'm on any of their levels, but like this is like from my
Oh, don't
perspective.
discount yourself.
But no, like
You.
you're playing, and then all of a sudden somebody makes a minor shift, somebody else makes a minor shift, and it just morphs into something. And it's almost like you don't even realize you're there until you're in it for a while, and then you're like, oh, this is working. I'm gonna ride this and take it
Then it's like
somewhere.
Sigma Oasis. You're already there.
You're already there. Yeah, and I
Now,
mean it's like driving home. You know how you don't know like the turns you make. It's
Zombie
just
mode. Zombie
yeah,
mode, I call that. All
right.
of a sudden you're in front of your house, you're like, oh, I should have stopped at the liquor
I'm thinking
store.
about like where I'm gonna go in Hyrule and which moblins I'm gonna kill, and then all of a sudden I'm in a real deep jam, and I'm like, "Fuck, all right, let's stay here.
I can work with this.
I can work with this." I hope it gets over soon, though. I got some shit to go do.
So how far are you in this game?
Pretty fucking far, actually.
Is there an end? Is there an actual
Yeah,
end point?
there's an end. You know what's funny too is like there's a completionist mentality with these games where you have to get everything. And with the last one, Breath of the Wild, you had to there was 900 of these seed things you had to collect, and no sane person did it, but like some fucking crazy people did it. And the reward that you got,
Like you?
no, I didn't do it, but the reward that you got for collecting all 900 was a golden piece of shit. And it was like the developer saying, like, calm down, you assholes. Like, it's supposed to be fun. Don't kill yourself. It's not a job. But
Golden turd.
golden turd.
The best way I can describe how I'm playing right now, I can't give you a percentage because I don't know how big it is. Like, every time I play, every few minutes, I discover something new. So I have no idea. But the other day, I meant to play. It was like 10 o'clock at night. My wife fell asleep. Babies were down. And, like, I started playing. I was like, all right, I'll play to midnight. I'll still be able to get good sleep. All of a sudden, lights start coming in through the window.
Oh, you were 6 a.m., not 4. Ooh.
Yeah. And I had
You like Vegas did. You like casino did. You were like, oh shit.
You have oxygen pumped into the room?
I legitimately thought it was like 11:30, 12 o'clock. I had no idea that much time went by. I did not move the entire time. And it's just because there's so much shit. You have like, oh, I'm going on this quest, this one thing. And on your way, you run into people. But it's not like a normal video game where it's like an NPC and a stupid side quest. The people you randomly go into are the main story. Like they figured out ways to integrate.
Did you find Althea?
All right, you're setting me
There's an
up.
Althea in there. There's an Althea in there. Did you find her? I crap you negative. There's a witch named Althea. I'll send you the screenshot later.
Okay. I remember
Fuck
that.
you. You fucking don't believe me. Whatever.
I believe you. I believe you. I believe you. I remember. I don't think it was this game though. I think it was a different game, wasn't it?
Let's see how it is. See how it is.
I was trying to integrate into your world here, into your video game world.
Oh god. What else is going on? Oh, do you see the Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say, did you guys see the thing about Google and the music? Like
What?
there's some Google AI program they now have that you can like type in that you want a love song about X, Y, and Z, and it'll give you a song out of it.
Any good? Have you
No,
tried
it
it?
was horrible. It was I just read the article and
Well, like give you like a 1-4-5 chord progression and some sappy ass lyrics sung in
right.
like
I want you to write a love song that includes apples and roses.
I want you to write a love. We should do that. I want you to write a love song that includes shade.
Hey, that's actually a good. That's a good idea for like a game. We need Jason or somebody on and just have AI randomly kick out.
I have
songs
Jason versus AI
and lyrics exactly, and have them like, or have you guys play the songs that are randomly generated by AI.
You say, okay, Google, how many songs can you write about the ocean? And then have like a competition to see if Trey could write more or the AI.
Hey, look, it's our
Hey.
producer.
Thanks,
There he is,
Mama.
our man of the hour.
Wait, I think he actually wants us to talk about fish. We've talked about everything except for
All right,
fish.
let me ask you a question then. If you could pick any cover in the world, what would you have Fish? What would you have Paige sing with Fish?
Oh, geez.
It's
You
hard
could pick
to.
multiple if they jump into your head.
The only things that jump into my head are things I've heard him sing. It's like hard, I'm trying to think of
I
songs
know
that
it's
I
hard to
haven't
think of
heard.
something
Well,
that he.
let me throw out my fantasy Page night would be they're closing the set with the piano solo out of Squirming Coil, and then all of a sudden Page goes and starts playing The Lamb Lies Down on Broadway and does the huge piano intro, and the whole band walks back out and they do The Lamb Lies Down on Broadway. Just the song, not the whole album, just the song.
That would be
That
cool.
would be my ultimate.
Why?
Because I think that there's so much they could work so much with that piano solo and have him go into another song and come out and close the set with something, you know?
It would be cool to see them do that, like walk off and then come back on and go back into something or go into something. That would be really cool, and
That
not
would
like
be
have it the
a
standard,
fun night,
what you
yeah.
always expect with the set break and the whole.
Do you think that was actually his wife, or do
Ooh.
you think he's secretly a Tay-Tay fan and just didn't want to admit it? Do you see the pictures of her playing in Philly? By the way,
In the
it's
rain?
fucking, it's great, dude. It reminded me. We talked about this last week of Fairly Well. How many? There was more people outside than inside. She sold out the stadium, and then there was like 40,000 people in the parking lot that didn't have tickets that were just listening
Do you know
outside the
Garth-
stadium.
Do you know the Garth Brooks model
No.
of touring? One year in Quebec, he sold out the first two shows. So he added a third. Then he added a fourth. Then he added a fifth and a sixth and a seventh. The
Just keep
seventh
adding them
didn't
until he
sell
doesn't
out.
sell out.
Yeah, the seventh didn't sell out, and he did 7 shows in Quebec. And then he went on to the next place and added 3 more shows in Albuquerque or some obscure place. And he just kept adding shows until everybody who wanted to see Garth Brooks' show could get in to see him.
That also annihilates the scalper and bot model because nobody's going to pay over. They're like, fine, I'll just go tomorrow night.
Right.
Now, was it the same show every night?
Yeah. Yeah, of course. It was the Garth Brooks show. You went out, you saw whatever November Rain, whatever song you did, whatever
That's
that
Guns N'
rain song,
Roses.
Thunder Road, that's what it was called.
Isn't he the
Somebody
one
wrote
that the
November
lowly
Rain
places
over there.
or
That's-
whatever?
Huh?
Friends in Low Places or whatever?
Yes,
Yeah,
that's.
I mean, I would go see Garth Brooks in a heartbeat. I mean, he
Yeah.
seems like a pretty straight up guy. You
My
know?
brother's taking my dad this weekend to see Jimmy Buffett, and he had a cool model too. I don't know, just random concerts that
What,
you would see.
Margaritaville?
No, but I like his model is he just announced the show like 3 days ago and sold out instantly, but there was no prep, and it really messed up the scalpers and stuff because you know what I
They
mean?
didn't
Like
have
there
the
was
money
no
ready.
there was no announcement, there was no tour. It was just like a pop-up concert, and it's the tennis stadium in Charleston that Fish played at. He
Oh,
sold
cool.
that out in like an hour, but I was like, that's kind of a cool model. Just pop up somewhere.
Have any of you ever been to a Buffett show or B, a Buffett lot?
No.
The Parrot Heads?
He used to play Merriweather, and we would go up and hang out in the lot. Because people would be like, you want a shot of tequila? Everybody had fucking alcohol. People would bring pickup trucks full of sand, dump it out, and set up a beach and shit in the middle of what used to be the lot in Merriweather, that far lot that now is office.
I bet the
buildings,
venues love that. Like all these fucking assholes.
Like
What is
growing
worse,
up, it
leaving
was
behind
always-
balloons or the sand?
Or the sand. Growing up, it was always the Jimmy Buffett show and the Steve Miller show at Red Rocks every
Yep.
summer that were just like complete shit fests of like just.
One year at Merriweather, Steve Miller was playing, and they were selling beer in wax paper cups, right? So somebody decided to light them on fire. They lit the whole lawn on fire while the show was going on. They had to stop the show and fucking get everybody out of the venue.
And they never sold wax cups again.
Never again. It was the weirdest thing ever. He's doing abracadabra, and there's this flame flying up in the middle of the water.
Smoke on the water. Oh man.
That's what happens. But that would be my model to do things if I was that person. You know, if I was that huge a star as Taylor Swift, I'd be like, fuck it, I'll give up a year of my life to make sure everybody gets to see this tour. And then if I never play again, at least I gave everybody this shot.
Do you think everybody would still get a shot, or do you think there would just be a fuck ton of people
If they
that went
played
to
if she
20
played,
shows in a row?
if she played 5 or 6 nights in Philly, everybody who wanted a
Yeah, but
ticket
she's
would
playing
get a
at
face
like
value
the
ticket.
Link, which is like the football stadium. I think
Right.
Garth Brooks was probably playing like 18,000.
Yeah.
No, Garth
know.
Brooks was playing stadiums. I mean,
That's
this is
Yeah,
like
he's
crazy
Garth
though,
pretty
because
big.
that's a lot of like not knowing if you're like, all right, just hold everything. Well, let's
No,
see.
what you do is what I think that the way they did their model was they said we're going to Quebec. The next show is scheduled is 2 weeks from now.
Yeah, they don't announce the next one until the
No,
day of,
they
I guess.
announced all the shows, but they're like, we're going to be in Quebec, then Albuquerque, then here, then there, and they're all 2 weeks apart, and it leaves the space open. And then they have smaller markets they can throw in if
Wait,
something
was
doesn't.
Tom at Tay-Tay? Why do I say
Uh,
Tay-Tay? I should not.
Mm.
That's crazy.
That's what I'm saying. If she played triple that 9 nights, everybody get in for $60 if you wanted to be in the nosebleeds. You know?
So that should be the poll: is what would you rather us talk about, Taylor Swift or The Legend of Zelda?
God help us.
Here's
you two
another
never
random.
answer my question. You two never answer my question. What cover that they don't do would you want Paige to sing? There's got to be some song you'd like to hear him sing. Nothing.
We should have had music prepared for this, like do 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 do.
Sand. Thank you, Scott.
I mean, No Quarter is the perfect song. I don't think I need him to sing anything else. I think his cover of that is perfect.
I don't know, something fun. You know, I like how he gets thrown some of the random songs, especially like the Halloween shows that he gets chosen for songs, especially some of those old one-offs from like Exile and like,
White Album, and
yeah, and he definitely doesn't play with Sweet Nothing enough for my liking, and they don't jam it out like they should either. But
someone is very much on this.
November Rain would be awesome. That would be fantastic, and it's got a great piano. Same with like what Estranged, the other one, Tiny Dancer.
Tiny Dancer, hell yeah, that would be good.
You think so?
Yeah.
Or
I
if
would love
something
that.
Elton, some kind of Elton song would be
Elton,
good.
yeah.
Something with a piano.
No, you know what my Elton song would be?
No, you know what would be great, Kev? I'll tell you what would be great. A Billy Joel cover.
No,
I was thinking that. I was
going to go with Burn Down the Mission. I've always wanted to hear Paige sing Elton John's Burn Down the Mission. Burn down, and it's got the great piano solo. Dun, 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 dun.
That's true. That would be kind of cool. It's got that good hit. Yeah.
Tumbleweed Connection is probably my only Elton John album. The rest of it I can take or leave. But that one, I think they were on to something at that moment in that place and time.
But only then. Everything else.
No, I don't like
Everything
Crocodile Rock. Crocodile Rock doesn't do it for me as much as a Ramones song does for a pure rock and roll song.
I like this.
Crocodile
too.
Rock is so overproduced, and all of his stuff was Goodbye Yellow Brick Road. All of that was so overproduced.
Well, I love that song.
Yes,
I guess
know
it is
Tom wants to see
overproduced.
Bungle in the Jungle. We all want to see that.
Yeah.
But we need a flautist. Can we get Lizzo to come out and flout?
Flout.
Rocket Man would be good.
Rocket Man.
All right. And this theme of random ass topics, I feel like we need to give a
Kevin, wait, I gotta ask Kevin, what are you drinking out of that?
It's my McCoffee espresso cup, and I have a quadruple espresso. I basically fill up the whole coffee cup with espresso.
Because I see you both have coffee mugs tonight, and
it'll be 4 a.m, and I'll still be up, and I'll be like, "Why can't I go to sleep?"
Yeah, because you just had a fucking 4 shot of espresso
Quadruple
at midnight, at 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock at night. Yeah, I can't imagine why you can't sleep.
Story of my life.
Hey, Doc, I'm having sleeping issues. I think I have insomnia. Well, tell me about your day. Well, I start drinking coffee first thing in the morning.
I went to a doctor once and told him I couldn't sleep and asked him to give me Adderall so I could sleep. And he was like, no, what the fuck?
That's not how that is literally not how that works.
You need some Quaaludes, man. Kev,
No, I
like,
figured if I had the Adderall, I'd be up for 10 solid hours and I'd crash.
then you'd crash.
Kev
Yeah.
needs like some K or like a gallon or
Exactly.
The K-hole, that shit was hot.
all right.
Back
So
when Wook Plus was a different show. Wook Plus
so
was
I'm gonna put you guys on the spot for next week because I didn't tell you about this. I guess not on the spot because you have a week. But what I want to do next week is a show and tell nostalgic walk down memory lane where we each pick our favorite clip from the history of the channel and we'll break up the show periodically with clips. T's pick, Kev's pick, my pick, and Llama's pick for the whole
Llama.
history. So we could have.
I remember that guy.
Did you say next week or next month?
Why am I giving us homework when you know I'm just gonna be playing Zelda? the
next
whole
next
fucking
month.
Right.
time?
Are you gonna be finished with the game by then? Are we gonna be able to?
I hope not, dude. I want to be playing this for a long time. I do want to pull one out for MTV News though. I thought that was an interesting development this week. I did catch wind of that.
What thing sticks out the most? What did you see on MTV News that's or if you're too young, I'm sorry.
It's all right.
For me, it's when fucking Cobain died.
I was gonna say the same
we
thing.
were
Yeah,
sitting there.
that's the one thing that
I
They
remember
were
that.
playing on
I
the
wasn't too
Beastie
young for
Boys,
that.
and then the next thing, breaking news, MTV News report: Kurt Cobain has died.
That I remember a lot of the Tipper Gore, the censorship time, like that whole
Parent
era
Music
of
Resource
like
Center.
NWA and like 2 Live Crew and the parental.
The mothers
like
of
MTV
prevention.
News was always all over that, like every day after school watching like MTV and like having that. But what's crazy about that too is not just MTV News, but like BuzzFeed and like their news division, like all these online news divisions and all these companies are closing their news divisions, which is kind of scary and shitty in the long run of things. Like it's kind of not great. So
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't even know MTV News was still around, to be honest with you.
I
Exactly.
didn't know MTV.
The fact
was
that
still
like
around.
it's shut down and was still around is kind of impressive all those years. But yeah.
But yeah, so much. And the thing with MTV back then was that there were no cell phones. That's where you got your info. You didn't get on your phone and check Twitter to see what happened to Kurt Cobain. You know, that's what you were given. And shut up.
Sorry.
And then you're looking on like, you know, you're going to the local news that night hoping they'll mention it, but they probably won't because they're like some drug addict, dirtball rock star died. We have more important news to talk about. There's potholes on 8th Avenue, you know.
Well, it would get like a blurb on Entertainment Tonight or something, but that was your only other bastion of any kind of, and that was, there wasn't Extra and Access Hollywood and 10,000 other of those like crazy. It was like literally Entertainment Tonight is sandwiched between like news and then Jeopardy or whatever, and that was it. And that's where you got like
a couple days later
information.
Couple days later you start hearing the whispers, Courtney killed him, you know, shit.
There's no way he could have reached the shotgun like with the way he did it.
I remember doing that at school. I was like a little kid when Kurt died, and I remember me and my buddies trying to figure out if you could pull the trigger.
You could actually do it. That's so
God.
crazy. But yeah, that was, and Kurt Loder, can I just send a shout out to Kurt Loder? Because he was old as dirt. Like old when water was new. And he was on MTV News and he carried that for so many years, and he was your go-to guy.
Him and that other guy that's still around. He's on ABC now. He was like the editor of Premiere Magazine for a while. What's his name? I don't know, but he's still around too, like him. And I was surprised, though, honestly, that it was still around. So good on it, but sucks it's gone.
Yeah. I'm kind of in a news void right now because I hate to admit it, but like I had recently been getting news from late night television, and with the writer's strike, I'm like, I wouldn't even call it news, but just like headlines and shit. I have no idea what's happening.
He gets all his news from Zelda.
That's right. Kennedy did go to Fox News. I remember that.
Kennedy did.
I was trying to think of the other ones that.
Oh, Nina Blackman or whatever. She was, and now Martha Quinn.
Yeah,
God,
those are
I
the
had
VJs
such a
though.
crush on Martha Quinn. My God.
Downtown Julie Brown.
Yeah,
Remember
yeah.
remember 90s MTV though, man? It was like that was like the apex of it too, like MTV Sports with Dan Cortez and
Yeah.
like the MTV Spring Breaks that when they'd go down to like
Yo
Florida
MTV
and shit.
Raps. I mean, Yo
Yo
MTV
MTV
Raps was
Raps.
must-watch TV if you were home. If there wasn't something going on, you were watching Yo M. That's what you put on because it was better than anything else going on that night.
And then the game like remote control, and when they got into like all this like the random programming and started really getting away from actual music videos and shit, man. So funny. 78.
Old as dirt. And this is where Wook gets all his news from.
What
So,
can I,
remote
you make fun of me
control,
if you
I
want.
remember
I
it.
don't care. I
Remote
enjoy
Control
it,
was a
man.
little past my time. The game show. That's when they started to fucking begin to bring down Western culture. Was with the
when they stopped playing
reality
music,
shows.
when they
Yes, that
stopped
was
playing
the end of
music,
Western culture. That was it.
Yeah.
It killed
Yeah.
us. You know,
It
next thing you
became
know, you
all-
got Trump in the White House. Fuck you, MTV.
That
Well,
it's
see, we
MTV's
went from
fault.
having like one Entertainment Tonight show to having 30, and that's like a whole
Right.
channel based on it. Like
Exactly. And
all of
TMZ.
that. Totally.
Oh my God,
Totally. I'm going to say
TMZ.
real quick, Tom Piper is doing good. Thank you for asking. She is sleeping actually next to me in her bed, but healing very well and getting better every day. So it's good to see. Thanks for asking.
That's great to hear.
Yeah.
We were worried. We were very worried.
It's been a stressful time, but it's finally. She won't let us like really touch her still, so I haven't been able to give her a bath, so she really does not smell great, but she still sore and stuff. So hopefully eventually she'll let us like be able to.
Best thing about cats, they fucking just lick themselves and you're good. You never have to
Oh,
wash
she
your
licks
cat.
herself. It's just like that doesn't make it smell any better. Like their tongue, you don't know where all their tongue
For
goes.
whatever reason, cats' tongues have deodorant on them or something. You never smell a cat.
I don't know if that's true.
Have you ever had a cat? I've had like 10 cats.
No, I think we're allergic.
I was allergic until my girlfriend said we're getting a cat and I wanted to keep getting laid. So I was like, cool.
Oh yeah.
And I went through like a month of not being able to breathe and my body adjusted and now they don't bother me at all.
You evolved.
I evolved. I did in real time. I evolved because I wanted
That
to.
is literally like evolution. Like he will not procreate unless he can.
Deal with the cat living here, and that's
Life finds a way.
I think that is a perfectly random way to end a perfectly random show. Thank you guys for watching and hanging out with us. It was a lot of fun. Like, subscribe, share, and we'll see you next time.
It's fun.
Bye.